Welcome to a very special episode. Today, we are honored to be joined by one of California's most experienced and respected lawmakers, Congressman Brett Sherman, representing the San Fernando Valley since 1997. Congressman Sherman has been a strong voice in Congress on foreign affairs, financial oversight, and human rights. Congressman Sherman, thank you so much for coming today.
Good to be with you. Good to be back on Logos TV again.
You have been representing California for over 2 decades, and throughout your career, you have been involved in shaping policies that affect millions. I want to start with an issue that's creating a lot of fear right now: immigration. Many Egyptian American families are worried about new immigration rules, afraid of deportations, or being treated unfairly. Congressman Sherman, what can you do right now to support and protect immigrant communities like ours?
First, I can't do enough. We're in the minority in Congress. Trump is taken an electoral victory where he said he would deal with the border, and his instead turned it into fear for millions and millions of residents of the United States. In terms of practical advice, I would say carry your passport or a copy of your passport with you if you have a U.S. passport, and if there's some risk of a wrongful detention, I would say go to my webpage, bradsherman.house, that's for houseofrepresentatives.gov. We've got information there about what your legal rights are. You do not have to let an ICE officer into your house, for example, unless they have a warrant. I am going to the detention facility in downtown Los Angeles tomorrow, Monday. I've organized this with several of my colleagues. I think Jimmy Gomez and Judy Chu is going to join us, and Maxine Waters may be able to join us as well. And we're going to take a look at the detention facility, but they do everything possible to make it hard. The law says that we should have unfettered access 24 hours without announcement. We're doing this with 7 days of announcement, so we know that if there's anything there, they will have cleaned it up in advance. I would say consult an immigration attorney, know your rights, and then also one of the many obstacles ICE uses is they say, well, we won't talk to your congressman unless they have a form that's filled out, and your family can't sign the form, you have to sign the form, and you're in detention. So I'm suggesting that people fill out the form in advance. Look, there's only, perhaps, we'd like to think only a 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000 chance it would ever be relevant, and give that to a family member. It's just one of the painful things you have to do in life. So there are some practical steps that can be taken. The most, I know you're involved in the tax world, and one of the, we at the IRS has always kept tax information secret because we want people, confidential. We want people to pay their taxes, and that's been law. And they just fired the head of the IRS because he wouldn't give them all the information about taxpayers. Now, what does this tell you? Who are they going after? They're going after taxpayers.
Yeah.
They said they're going after murderers and criminals and drug dealers. You know who doesn't file with the IRS? Drug dealers. You have some clients? Any drug? No drug dealers.
No, none of them.
So they're going after the people who have lived in America for decades, who are law-abiding, tax-paying people, and they're even going after those who. It is outrageous. We're going to have a big election in 2026. If you support Donald Trump, get involved in the Republican Party, and if you don't support Donald Trump, get involved in the Democratic Party.
Okay. So, and this form is new, right? The form they have to fill out?
The form is a form we've always used. You see, if somebody has a problem with the IRS or Social Security, the first thing people do if they want their member of Congress involved is they sign a form saying, please contact Social Security about my grandmother's missing Social Security check.
Yes.
Which is easy. You know, we email them the form, they sign it, they send it back. It's more difficult if they say, well, you're in detention. ICE doesn't give you the form.
Yeah.
And then ICE says, we won't accept a form signed by your wife, signed by your child. So what I'm suggesting is, and I hope very much, the vast majority of people watching are never going to need it. But you might as well fill out the form in
Just in
advance.
case.
Just in case,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes. Okay, Congressman, in 2021, you spoke out in support of the Coptic Christian community and called for protecting religious minorities. Since then, have you taken any actions in Congress to help protect the rights of Copts here in the U.S. or overseas?
Well, I think religiously, Coptic Christians aren't persecuted in this country that is overwhelmingly Christian. If there were issues, I'd certainly like to learn of them. Obviously, the Coptic community in Egypt faces considerable discrimination. The ambassador of Egypt came to my office just a couple months ago, and I talked to him about a number of things. First, St. Catherine's Monastery, where the Egyptian government is trying to force them out, questioning their legal right to the land. They have been there since 560 AD.
Right.
They've been there since it was ruled by Byzantium, by the Eastern Romans.
Correct.
Nobody has a deed signed by a Roman emperor, but they've been there since 560. We also see the persecution of those who convert. There are a number of reasons to convert to Christianity. It is, after all, the ancient religion of Egypt, and for many centuries. And we saw a man who was just wanted to get his papers updated, and they arrested him for terrorism because he had converted to Christianity. And then when there are incidents, and the government can't prevent all intercommunal disputes, but it can prevent a lot of them by taking them seriously and enforcing the law. And instead, when Christians are attacked, when they're driven from their villages, the government says, well, let's have a reconciliation session. You know, somebody gets beaten within an inch of their life, and then you have a reconciliation session. No, the governments need to enforce the law. So I was able to go through these with the Egyptian ambassador, and to make it plain that our very substantial aid to Egypt is not just a matter of international geopolitics, it's also a matter of how Egypt treats its own people.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Congressman, for that. And how do you see the relationship between the United States and Egypt today? What can Congress do to make that relationship stronger?
Well, so often there's a focus on the Israel-Egypt relationship, and that's what gets the news. And obviously, from the White House's perspective, that would come first. I think Egypt has behaved reasonably there, but there are also other important issues involving Egypt. Sudan is just to the south and is becoming a failed state. That's dangerous for Egypt, it's dangerous for the world. Osama bin Laden was once very involved in Sudan, and we need to see peace there, and those who support the rapid support forces have certainly done the world no favor. And then we have to make sure that, I think it's called the Gerd Dam in Ethiopia, does not interrupt the flow of the Nile, which of course is the lifeblood of Egypt. So there are a number of things that are part of the geopolitical relationship. I think the relationship is good, but I think it would be better if Egypt treated its Coptic community with more protection.
So, and is there any steps you can take to make it stronger relationship?
Well, I've supported aid to Egypt. That was part of the Camp David Accords. I think at the same time that we're providing that aid, we need to be pushing Egypt in the right direction, particularly on issues of human rights.
Okay. We'll move to a different subject. You have supported projects like turning the old Encino fire station into a community center. Why are projects like this important to you, and how can they help our community?
Well, members of Congress spend most of their time dealing with laws that affect the whole country equally, but now and then we can do particular things for our community. I represent not only the San Fernando Valley, but also the Pacific Palisades and the Santa Monica Mountains. And so I was able a couple of years ago to get money for the LA Fire Department and to get large super scooper airplanes. This was something I did 20 years ago, turned over to the California National Guard. And of course, those were used in the firefighting efforts for the terrible fires we had in January. But whether it's drug treatment programs, whether it's transportation programs, I do try to get special projects funded in the San Fernando Valley and the rest of my district.
Oh, that's great. You have served a diverse district of many years, including many Egyptian Americans. What message do you want to share with them today?
Well, you know, when I first got involved in politics as a volunteer at a very young age, my friends told me, why are you wasting your time on politics? And they'd always say, it doesn't matter who gets elected, they're all the same. And since Donald Trump came down that escalator, one thing is obvious. It does matter who gets elected, and they're not all the same. And if you support Donald Trump's policies, get involved. If you don't support what Trump is doing for our country, get involved in the Democratic Party. And there'll be a number of things that the people can do. We expect to have a special election in early November that will pit Democrats against Republicans on a technical issue of redistricting. And that's one chance for people to go forward and to say, I support Donald Trump or I oppose Donald Trump, and that'll be on the ballot in just 3 months.
Okay, next November.
This November.
This November.
Special election.
Oh.
You expect there'll be a big election in November 2026. There'll be our primaries in June of 2026. Those are regularly scheduled. We're going to have an extraordinary election in just 3 months that will pit Democrats versus Republicans on the issue of how to draw the boundaries of congressional districts. And that will be by far the biggest test as to whether Americans support the Trump agenda. There are a few other states that are also having elections in 2025, Virginia, New Jersey, but California is the big one.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Yeah, that's good to know. So, Congressman, like, I just want to ask you a quick question. What kind of issue we should contact our congressman?
Well, if you have a problem with the federal government, could be Social Security, could be the IRS, could be Veterans Affairs. If you live in my district, call us at 818-501-9200. And if you live in a different district, call your member of Congress.
Yes.
Now, we can't just order the bureaucracy to, you know, we don't, but we can push them, especially when they're behind or there's a screw up, when they're not following their own rules, when they're not paying attention to a particular case. And of course, immigration is the most contentious part of that, but we're all often dealing with passport issues, visas. I've made quite a number of calls to embassies around the world saying, you know, we need to get this or that visa approved, or at least get the interview scheduled earlier. So whether it's the American government's embassy abroad, or whether it's your local Social Security office, we get involved in a lot of that.
Thank you so much. That's great to know. So, Congressman Sherman, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your support for human rights and for our immigrant communities. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
لوغوس تي في. أن نحضر كل إنسان كاملا في المسيح يسوع.
أهلا بيكم في حلقة جديدة من برنامج حكاية. النهاردة هنحكي حكاية سفر أعمال الرسل. السفر بيبتدي بمشهد صعود السيد المسيح للسماء ورجوع التلاميذ للعلية